It started on a regular weekend, a few years ago. I was staying at a remote cabin up in the mountains, just to get away from the chaos of the city. It was just me, some food, a few drinks, and my camera gear. I was planning to make a documentary about the local wildlife, maybe even catch a few night shots of the stars, you know. Nothing out of the ordinary. The cabin itself was pretty old, kind of creepy in its own right, but nothing that made me feel like I was in any real danger. But that night changed everything. It was around 10 p.m. when I went out for a late night walk. The air was crisp and the forest was silent, as it usually is up there. I don't know why I felt the need to go out alone, but something about the stillness of the woods called me. Maybe I wanted to capture the eerie calm on camera. So I'm walking along this narrow trail that weaves through the trees when I hear it, a rustling in the brush. I freeze. At first I think it's just a deer or some small animal, but then I hear footsteps, not the usual uneven shuffle of a forest animal, but steady, deliberate steps. Too heavy to be an animal, but not quite like a human either. My heart starts to race. I tell myself it's just my imagination, maybe a lost hiker, but I can't shake the feeling that something is off. The footsteps stop, and for a moment, there's absolute silence. Then, in the distance, I hear what sounds like a low, rasping growl. It's not a coyote, not a wolf. It's deeper, like a voice, but not quite. I take a deep breath, try to calm myself, and start walking back to the cabin. But the feeling of being watched, it's almost suffocating. The hair on the back of my neck stands up. The footsteps start up again, this time closer. Too close. Without thinking, I turn around to look, and that's when I see it. At first, it's just a shadow between the trees, but then it steps into the moonlight, and I almost drop my camera. It's human, or at least, it looks human, but something is off. Its skin is pale, sickly, stretched tight over its bones. Its limbs are unnaturally long, almost too long for a human, and its fingers, they're twisted, jagged. The nails are black, curling like claws, and its face is not right. It's like someone took the skin of a person and stretched it over something. Something wrong. The eyes are too big, too wide, like they were ripped from some deep primal nightmare. My instincts scream at me to run, but I can't move. I'm frozen in place, staring at it, and I swear it smiles. That twisted, horrid smile, like it knows exactly what I'm feeling, like it's playing with me. Then, without warning, it starts to speak. It doesn't use words, at least not any language I understand. It's like it's mimicking a human voice, but it's garbled, distorted, like hearing someone speak underwater. But underneath that, I hear my own voice, my own name. The thing is trying to sound like me. "Come closer, your name," it says, in a voice that sounds too much like my own. My heart skips a beat. I want to run. I know I should run, but my feet won't move. I'm stuck in place, and then it steps forward, slowly, carefully, like it's savoring every moment. My breath is shallow. I can feel the panic rising in my chest, my limbs shaking uncontrollably. It gets closer, closer, and I can smell it now. It's a foul, decaying smell, like something died a long time ago and just started rotting. It's overwhelming, and my stomach lurches, but I can't look away. "Help me," it whispers. But it's not asking for help. It's mocking me. It knows I'm terrified, and it's enjoying every second of it. Then, something happens. I snap out of my trance. I don't know how, but something inside me breaks through the fear. I grab my camera, point it directly at the thing, and hit record. That seems to break whatever hold it had over me. The creature stops, its head jerking toward the camera, as if it understands what I'm doing. I take a step back, then another, slowly, never taking my eyes off it. I back away into the woods, my camera still trained on the creature, trying to keep the footage steady despite my trembling hands. My heart is pounding, my mind racing, but I have to stay calm. I can't let it see how terrified I am. It doesn't chase me. It just watches. It stands there, smiling, unmoving, like it's daring me to run, knowing I'll never outrun it. I don't know how long I stayed out there, but eventually, I find myself back at the cabin, gasping for air. I slam the door shut, lock it, and slide down against it, my heart still racing. I don't remember running back. I don't remember anything after that, except the feeling of its eyes still on me, even though I couldn't see it anymore. That night, I didn't sleep. I couldn't. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw its face. The face of something that used to be human, but isn't anymore. And I knew that it wasn't just some weird animal or figment of my imagination. It was a skinwalker, A creature that could mimic anything, anyone, and prey on your fear. I never told anyone about what happened, until now. I've thought about going back to that cabin, trying to find answers, but something inside me knows better. I've heard stories since then. There are whispers in the woods. People say if you wander too far, if you stray off the path, you might see them. Or worse, they might see you. So I guess the only advice I have for you, if you ever find yourself out in a place like that, stay on the trail. And whatever you do, never listen to anything that calls your name in the woods.